Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the DES podcast. And this time we can finally say the DES without the E because the man is rallying back. Introduce yourself.
Gang. S is here, Sam. What's the story? How far, everybody? I'm sorry, I've been away. I've been gallivanting, playing football, but mostly gallivanting. I was skiing. I actually forgot to send them the clip of me skiing to say, sorry guys, I'm out skiing at the moment.
Anyway.
And I was home.
Anyways, guys, welcome back to another episode. And this is a bit of a special because, as you know, Sam, my United supporter, me, a Tottenham supporter, Wednesday the 21st of May, 2025 at 8 o'clock. Somebody that day is going to cry and someone that day is going to smile. And who it's going to be, we will wait and see. But till then, let's talk about what we think. So, how are you? I know, obviously, we've done our interviews earlier, but obviously, how are you feeling about this final? And how do you think United are going to do? And then I'll speak about how I think Spurs are going to do. And
like I was saying in the sort of interview, I have zero faith, man. 10%. Obviously, on the day, I'm going to remember when Manchester United, I'm going to rise it. But right now, I can't rise nothing, man. I'm shook. There's no way for me to mince words here. I'm shook. I'm worried. I don't think these crop of players, can get things done. But they've gotten things done. That's the funny thing. But I'm just worried, man. Against the Prem teams, we've really struggled. If it was another European team, I would be very, very confident going into this. But against really more physically, more intensive teams, and it kind of coincides with Amorim's experience more so. Because playing at Sporting, it's more a technically inclined sort of league where there's not as much of a emphasis placed on physicality. It's the same throughout the teams in Europe as well. And I think that's why we've seen a lot of joy against them, because we were able to kind of almost match the technical ability enough with the physical ability a bit, where we can, if we turn it on for like 20 minutes against those teams, and we blitz them. We genuinely blitz them. But against a team like Tottenham, who are absolutely better than us physically, I think technically as well, they are on a normal day they are better than us. When we have all our players making sense, I think we can be better than them for like 20 minutes. But that's our max. I struggle to see how they can manage that game stay throughout the full 90.
So I want to ask you something because it's very interesting. So Gary Neville came out and said that the only player that would get into the Spurs starting 11 would be Bruno Fernandes.
I think he's smoking crack. I think that's a ridiculous opinion. Which leads me to say, I'm not even going to ramble on this one. I want to keep it short. I'm tired of the ex-pros at United who were there when we were winning. I'm extremely tired of them showering negativity. I'm not even saying the word.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that lately, that they're getting very tired of them.
I've been tired. Like, in the first place, the using the whole negativity is a form of motivation and things of that nature. Move. They get enough negativity from the fans when they lose. They do. They've been a football player. The only thing is they want a football player during the social media time. They understand the mentality of what it means to be a professional football player. They do not understand what it means to be a professional football player
I get you.
in our current social climate. They need to be much more constructive in how they speak about the team. Look, at the end of the day, they're never gonna take advice from a 22-year-old that's never played a game of professional football play. But as somebody who's literally was raised up in the generation that they weren't raised up in, right? The manner in which they talk absolutely plays away. They know what the press used to do back in the day and how that would affect the mentality of the players. They seen it live with Beckham.
Yeah.
Now imagine that, not the same amount of hate, but a much more condensed and still as visceral a type of hate is now much easier spread now that it's on social media to these players. And the people that you're supposed to be the support system. You're supposed to be people to defend. The reason why people the reason why with Beckham, when you look at his documentary, one of the clips that it said that he'd come back to United and there was no noise. When he was in the England club, a lot of the noise was coming in. But Fergie made it that when he was in United, yeah, he was protected. He did his best to block out all of that, and he could actually be relaxed, right? Why is it that when you're comparing old United to this United, yeah, and you're trying to say, oh, standards, this, that, and the third, but why can't you help shield? Why can't you help protect?
I know what's so funny about Gary Neville. The funny thing is he's part of a committee in that club, which is trying to obviously he's part of the building the stadium committee, if I'm correct. You'd think that someone like that would actually try to defend a bit more, knowing that he's going to have what is going to be probably one of the biggest impacts in Manchester
for years to come, for decades.
That stadium is done and built. You know, and I do you know what I could hear where he was coming from with that statement. But even me as a Spurs fan, I was kind of like, I kind of looked at the team and I said, okay, Onana and Vicario, I'm taking Vicario. I'm sorry, not as much as Vicario is, and I was like, okay, right back, Delo
or Mazraoui.
Even Mazraoui. I see with me personally, when I talk about my right back, you obviously know I put Jet Spence above any fullback in that team. So if you're telling me Jet Spence versus Mazraoui, I'm gonna say Jet Spence. But if you're telling me Mazraoui versus Porro, I think I'm taking Mazraoui. 2 centre backs. I don't know. Like Van de Ven.
I think Maguire has been very solid.
Maguire and Van de Ven, you could say, but at the same time, Maguire is always formation dependent.
Yeah, I do think that this feedback has really highlighted his.
It's always formation dependent. So Romero, we know how good Romero plays for Argentina, but when it comes to Spurs, he's a different player. So it's very hard. But to make that statement so boldly, it's like, yes, Bruno Fernandes will probably get into any team's midfield in the Premier League. So that's not even a question to even throw out there. Like, if Real Madrid had the chance to sign Bruno Fernandes, I'm pretty sure they would.
Amad Diallo is
also there. So like, I didn't agree with the statement, but
mine guy.
Where are we talking? Mainu's gonna be playing now.
Mainu's a centre mid. He's not a 10.
Yeah, but
when we see Mainu play his best football was in the tree.
Like I said, this conversation is going to be one thing. It's going to be formation dependent. Because there's going to be formations that a lot of Spurs players might not get into United's team. But except striker-wise, United don't have a striker, so that one is out the door anyway. But
I'd rather Chido right now over that man.
Yeah, so that's what I'm just trying to say. Everything just is formation dependent. Right. But like, look, that is what it is. I just wanted to ask what you think about it. But as for me, the final is going to be interesting for Spurs because and for United, because this final is the type of final that it's like, regardless if whoever's team manager wins, it seems like both teams still want the managers to be gone, which is very interesting. Because I'm just like,
we're both top 6 teams.
I know
are in the bottom half.
Like, it's not what I just in the bottom half, Sam. We were very lucky that the 3 other teams were just shitter than us.
They just sucked.
Do you understand how lucky we were? Like, if that was Leeds or Burnley, that could have been a whole different situation. Especially someone like Leeds.
Bro, my manager, Bruno was saying in the latest interview, our manager underestimated
how the difficulty of the Premier League.
Like, our manager is literally growing at the same, is literally learning and growing on the job. At fair play, you can always learn and grow when you get to your job, yeah. But I wasn't expecting him to be this far back.
Yeah.
This is my problem now with modern coaches. Like,
I swear, West Ham are probably looking at this situation like, oof, thank God we didn't get him. Remember West Ham were meant to get him or something. Was it West Ham?
It was West Ham.
Someone was meant to get him.
What lost she West Ham, pa?
They would, but no, but on the you are like, when I look at this final, I find it very weird. And like, from a United's perspective and Spurs, I still don't get why we'd want to sack our managers. And hear me out when I'm saying this, right? In the worst of the situations, regardless of what anybody wants to say about the new format of the Europa League, whatever.
Is that even the new format?
You know the new format that basically the relegated teams from the Champions League don't
and
all this. Our team still managed to make a European final. Regardless of all the obstacles, all the noise, all the pressure our managers have been getting, with players saying certain things to the media which they shouldn't be saying, they still made a European final. with other fan bases, and I'm going to actually become. I want to become the most hated. I want to become the most hated one. And again, I repeat, with other managers that keep questioning our managers, and their managers can't even make a final in how many years? You know, everybody, with all the noise, we still made European finals, and other people's teams can't. Like, this is as much as people want to cough our managers' heads, you should kind of look at it in the sense of like, these man actually knew, because Amron got to the stage where they kind of like, they don't care about the league anymore. You could honestly see it, because they were doing better in the Europa League, and eventually we kind of all were at the point where we said the Europa League final is going to be between Tottenham, United, Galatasaray, and Athletic Club. I think was because there were the 4 teams there that were like, these are the big boys, So when it came to all this, and I keep saying that, I'm like, and you know me, I from day one have not been Angel. I never have. Are you alright?
Yeah.
And my thing's still recording, sorry.
Yeah.
I've never been Angel, and I never will be Angel, for the simple reason is, we can't say, because I'm sorry, Arsenal fans are gonna come at me, and I don't always speak about your team because your team is the perfect example of this. We can't give one manager 5 years and say this is his first big team. I've had this argument with Eddie the last time. I said, how can anybody still sit here and say that Arteta's first big team was Arsenal when he was the assistant coach at Manchester City? He was influential in the decisions that Pep was making. He won how many Premier Leagues? Let's not be stupid here. He technically, on paper, has won Premier Leagues before. Was he not there when they won the Champions League? So what is this thing that we keep saying, that one manager is still building his team, but another manager like Ange or Amron, who are new to the Premier League, and Sam, remember what the word I used there, new to the Premier League, are being put under this pressure. The problem is, a lot of clubs are expecting a lot of success very fast. Manchester United now are in a moment where they have to just build up again. The foundation has to be cracked and rebuilt. Tottenham are in a position now where they have a man. Yes, he has, and I'm going to ask you this question. Yes, he's going to either finish 16th or 17th, all depending on the last home matches. Is going to depend where we're both going to finish. But this guy he finished 5th last year in his first season, got to Europa League, won 10 games unbeaten last year, obviously. And do you know what hurts me the most is that fans don't realize Ange's actually not had a full season with a full team, a fully fit team. 2 of his seasons, remember after the Chelsea game, was when Van de Ven and Romero got injured, Maddison got injured, players were just getting injured left, right, and center. This season again, Vicario, everybody was injured, Sam. Actually, Guerrero had to play center back. I don't believe we can judge Ange ever off the seasons he's having. If Ange had one full season, let's say when he had 70% no injuries and he was doing this, I would call for his head tomorrow. But Sam, he hasn't had it. And I don't think it's fair that we say for one manager that has been in the Premier League for years, that was with Man City at their best times. Obviously not during the time they won 4 Premier Leagues in a row, but was there when they were winning cups, was there when Manchester City were dominant. So now say that he's new versus 2 new managers who just came in obviously Ange just had last season, and this is like quote unquote his first proper season, but they still haven't a fully fit team. Neither has Amron. Amron doesn't even have the players he wants. So do you get where I'm like, we can't call, I don't believe we can call for these guys' heads till next season. Do you agree with me or do you disagree with me?
I hear what you're saying, because before I changed my opinion kind of where Amorim, it kind of changed my philosophy with managers. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, listen, the guy has to have a full preseason, he has to have a full transfer window. Oh, my body does the pain me.
It's fine.
God have mercy. But you have to, I don't know, like with systems, yeah, there's a framework, there's a style of play with systems, and if it's a good one, it will work. And there'll be times where while everybody's trying to figure shit out, it works, because that's just the nature of the system. If a system is destined to work, even if it can't work consistently, it will work. I haven't seen the system that Amorim is playing work enough for me to say this is a system I can believe in, to the point that we can put money behind.
But do you still not feel that you need to give this man one full season. Because Sam, he's coming into probably the worst situations ever. And Sam, the funny thing is, Amrin is coming into a bad and good situation, if you hear what I'm about to say. He's coming to a situation where there was a previous manager, Eric Ten Hag, who had just won 2 trophies with Manchester United, but everybody was still calling for his head. Now he's coming to a situation where everybody now is looking in series, why did we sack Ten Hag?
Yeah.
You know? So it's kind of a funny one that he's coming into. It's like, we caught Ten Hag's ship, but he won 2 trophies for us, but now you're here and you're doing shit.
He has so much grace.
Yeah.
I've been seeing people online give him so much grace. I'm like,
but I still believe you need to give Amrin a full season. Like, I'm not saying, because at the end of the day, Sam, what happens when he gets the players he wants? If it doesn't work, fair enough. Yeah, take another. But at the end of the day, football is a club where you have to take risks and you have to invest.
We're playing with 2 left. If we build the squad he wants, we're playing with 2 left tens. That 10s aren't wingers. Like, have you not seen how football at the moment is shifting, right? The manner of the style of play and how, like, the 10 role was gone pretty much. It's come back. It's coming back slowly. You're getting your 10s like Wirtz. You're getting your 10 like you're getting your 10s like I'm off the top of my head.
Martin. No, Martin's already been there.
He's been a 10, but he's still important. Cherky. That's another example. Yeah. Actual 10s, the mold of a 10 is coming back, and I mean, quite frankly, I love it because the way football has gone very systematic, right?
Yeah.
But when you find teams who are now playing that systematic football with each other, where everybody almost knows what they're going to try and do before they even do it, you need somebody that's able to consistently pull out magic out their ass.
Yeah.
That's where the value of a 10 comes in, and that's why we're starting to almost see a resurgence in them.
You know what I'm saying? I hear what you're saying. I genuinely do hear what you're saying. But look, I think the Europa League final is going to be interesting because I remember I don't know if we talked a couple of years ago. I remember when Spurs were in the Champions League final, and I said, whoever wins that Champions League final was going to win the league next year. I said, hands down. I said there was no, because momentum would have followed them into the season. And I remember what I said whoever loses it is going to dismantle and fall to pieces. Liverpool won it, won the league the year after. Spurs dismantled. I believe it's going to be the same outcome for this. I believe whoever wins it, I believe the teams will not finish in positions that they were finishing now.
Obviously.
But I believe whoever wins this, momentum is going to follow them into next season and they're going to be top 4 challengers, 100%. I believe that Spurs, and I believe one thing I genuinely believe, I can't speak for United, but for Spurs I can speak, is that Daniel Levy is not going to see the money that comes in from winning the European Cup and not think, what happens if I win 1 or 2 more of these? I believe that's what I genuinely believe will happen with Levy. I'm not sure about United because United's predicament right now, and I want to kind of go into that, which I think is very disgraceful from Jim Ratcliffe, in my opinion, was the whole
not paying for
staff members.
I don't think it's a setup. I think it's a PR move. I think it's a PR move.
That's something that sounds like he would do.
I genuinely think it's a PR move. It's like,
so you think he's gonna pay for them at the end?
No, I think he's gonna pay for. I think he's gonna have this as an opportunity for Amorim to be like more in love or emboldened to be within like the Man United culture and club, to buy him time almost. Because deeper, if you have somebody that is genuinely loved by the people that he constantly works with on a day-to-day basis, where there's an opportunity like this where he can't, these players are not being paid, if he's paying that out of pocket, like what does that perception? Do you not
think it's a bit disgraceful though that Man United players like Casemiro and all these people who get paid shit tons of money can't say, do you know what, Man United, just take a week of my wages and let these guys go?
Baba, I won't lie to you. I can't talk about that because at the end of the day, despite how much they get paid, it's their job. It's their job.
Sam, I get it's their job, but Sam, there has to be morals here. Sam, let's be honest. You're telling me that how many? Let's say there's 24 players. Each those 24, the ones that make over 100,000 plus for the last, I've been in United for the last 5-6 years, cannot say, actually, do you know what? Let's all pitch in and just give 20 grand. Come on, we know they can do this. We genuinely know they can do this. It's not, Sam, let's we have to respect everybody on their job, and footballers do a job and they do it very well and they put their body shoulder. But Sam, there's a pay bracket that they are at that is ridiculous. You were telling me, no, Sam, you were telling me Bruno Casemiro, United's highest paid player, can't say, oh, Do you know what? Each of us, or the captain would say, oh yeah, everybody here, each of us pay for 2 or 3 people here. There's 40 people that weren't going, if I'm correct. It was 40 members of staff he's not paying for. You're telling me that all those 11, the starting 11, quote unquote, can't all turn around and say, let's all fund these guys to go. Are you genuinely telling me that professional footballers who make over 200 grand? Sam, let's have a bit of common sense here.
Me on the powder, Baba. Me on the powder.
So can I ask a question? If you're in that situation,
me on the shit.
I'll do it. Sam, then you're part of the problem.
Me on the sub 10,000.
10,000 is still a lot. Sam.
Me on mine 10,000, but for 20,000,
but Sam, you're telling me you can't pay 20k and you're getting 200,000 a week. And Sam, you're getting this 200,000 from it. So we're talking about 20,000 weeks. That's 2, 4, 6, 52 weeks. So I have to do maths in my head. We're taking nearly 10 mil a year. My maths is off. 10 mil a year. Yeah. Is my maths correct here? Oh, whatever. If you're making 5 mil a year, you can't spend 20 grand. Plus your sponsorship deals are all gonna have and everything.
But those are top deal players. Though.
But Sam, most United players are over. Most of United's 15 top players are making more than 100 grand a year. 100 grand a week.
15 top players are making over 100 grand.
What?
Our 15 top are making over 100 grand.
My United's 15 top players are not making over 100 grand.
The reason why Casemiro
let's talk.
Casemiro's on 3 something. Bruno's let's
from the top.
Casemiro's
I'm talking about Onana. That's talking for your team. Like Onana is definitely on more than 100k.
He's on. I think Onana's on 150.
Okay, 150. Right back.
Masrai is not on that.
Okay, let's say he's on.
I think Dallo is not. I think Dallo's on 80.
Well, you have to remember these are the players that were signed before Ineos time. So anybody who signed before Ineos time
doesn't count.
No,
Ugarte is on. I think Ugarte is on like 130.
Okay, so the 2 centre backs are definitely over 100. Delete is definitely over 100. Maguire is definitely over 100. Luke Shaw is definitely over 100. Bruno Fernandes is definitely over 100.
Yeah, he's 300.
And Dorugu maybe is like on 50, 60. Dorugu is maybe on 50, 60.
I think it's 50 or
50, 60. I can
say. This I can't remember which professional season, because I think last year was his breakout season, but he's right now.
Dorugu is on 50, 60. Ugarte your whole midfield is over 100k.
Yeah,
that's what we can say. Diallo,
Manu's not on 100.
I know Manu's not on 100, but
Diallo's not on 100.
Diallo, I don't know because remember he signed a new contract. So
that's no. They jammed. Remember Steph Curry had a contract where he was injured, and the Golden State they used that one to pay him less money because of that injury. There was a type of contract that they did a similar one to Ahmad. So
let's say Ahmad is on 60, 70.
Yeah.
Everybody in your front three is on 100. I will say, Hoyland is definitely on 100.
Garnacho's
if you're buying a 70, Garnacho signed a new deal not so long ago.
It wasn't on 100 though.
Okay, let's say another. He's close to 100.
Hoyland as well. He's not on 100.
Hoyland's good. If you're a 70 million pound player, you're gonna be on near 100.
You've been near, but it's not 100. I think it's like 80.
Sam, but if you're
is his goal contribution? Is his actual goals that they have bonuses?
If you're still telling me here that this man cannot make this type of money and they should not be able to up pitch in 20 grand, that's a problem. Sam, these players are being paid. Sam, 20 grand to these people is probably like €100 to us.
I think.
Sam, you're telling me, right? On shake for Boboa. I let's say by God's grace, chit-chat and everything blew. And I did not bring members of staff because of cost cutting. But you, man, were getting paid stupendous amounts of money. Are you telling me that you won't pay for 3 or 4 staff to come to somewhere?
I think it's them ones where I'm not in the situation, so obviously I don't have a lot of emotions.
No, Sam, it's not about the situation. It's about understanding that you know what I'm saying is right. There has to be an edge. Now, I'm not saying Bruno Fernandes is the type of person to me that would do something like that.
He did.
And he probably did.
He joined him and Casemiro joined them.
They probably did. But that's what I'm saying. Is like, you can't, like, United right now, like you said, I don't believe they need this trophy. Because remember, you said this to me before, the FA Cup. The Europa League and making Champions League is still going to cover a lot of problems in your club.
I don't mind us making it if we are still working on our issues on the low. But if we're not, I think the best way to do it is to do it as openly and as ruthlessly as possible. That's just how I see it. Because like with the fact that, like I said, the back offices was so important. The fact that our back office is in here, it enables a situation where we can really work on those problems, right? And I do think that they actually actively, from what I'm seeing, they're working on it. However,
some cost cutting I understand, but you're cost cutting to a point now which is unnecessary. You're cost cutting to a point now where you just look at it like,
I don't know how much it's saving the business. I'll be real.
So even Gary Neville came in and said, "Why are you cost quoting 40 grand? This is Manchester United."
I don't know what the expenses are like in the club that they're cost cutting to this degree. I don't think that.
I don't think it's I just don't think it's. I don't think it's to the level he's trying to make it. You're telling me Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs and one of the biggest revenue holders in the world, is having these problems. I just can't believe it.
It's either the finances are more fucked than we thought it was.
Yeah, but Sam, even if it's that, everybody's finances comes out every year. If it was that bad for Fabrizio, all these people would have said it.
No, but they did say it though.
Yeah, but no, it's not to the point that he's saying that Manchester United are going to run out of cash.
No, but no, they were.
No, they were not.
They were. I mean, Ratcliffe literally came on to an interview, and Neville was
Gary Neville.
Yeah,
yes, I'm telling you, there's no way I can believe Manchester United.
Did you not see how they were bought in the first place?
Who, Man United?
Yeah,
I know they were bought with a loan, and the loan is still on.
It was a leveraged buy. It was similar to how a lot of private equities kind of do it. It was a leveraged buy, and then they just put the debt on United.
Yeah, I know.
The way we were going, cash price in terms of how stuff was being spent. Now, for Ratcliffe to say that type of comment here, I'm expecting that if you were to look at the books, the financials, because United, I don't know, is United a listed company? Or is it private?
I don't think so. But every Premier League club has to release their books at Premier League has to release their accounts. Regardless.
Maybe they're filed under another sort of asset name.
No, they have to release their accounts by the end of the year, regardless. Every Premier League club has to do it.
In that
transparency or whatever.
In that case, I don't know when United's one will come out, but I think
it's already out.
It's already out.
It was already, but they come out because obviously you know that their year will, they do everything's the year. So like they'd still be in 2024, instead of like 2025. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to see the coming years.
Okay, but anyways, look, I just don't know. I just don't believe that. I don't believe what he done was right, Ratcliffe. I don't believe that you are going to say that, and you're probably going to get a private jet to there and bring a few of your mates and enjoy and do all these things while there's people there who are basically the backbone of the club. Like, you know, Tottenham are bringing all their stuff, all of them. Even with the shit Daniel Levy gets all the time about cost saving, he's bringing all his stuff.
You man slow make more of a profit than we do.
Yeah, we make profit because our owner treats the club like
an actual business.
And I think now this is where I say he's probably going to now see, okay, if I give the love of football but also treat this like a business, how much more money can I make?
What can you really make? You can only really make that if you are.
Yeah, but apparently winning the Europa League, you get like 80 mil.
Yeah, but I'm saying that because of the inflation that teams now suffer when they're trying to build a squad now.
Yeah,
the amount of investment you have to do into a squad to make that worth it. That 80 million, what you're left with when you tot it up against how much you invested in the squad.
But you have to remember they're also gonna, because now you know clubs, they're smart. They'll use the 80 million, but they'll also say being in the Champions League, how much that's gonna bring as well.
That's
what they'll use. They go, yeah, we made 80 million in the Champions League.
But the players you need to sign to win the European trophy.
I've always said from day one, Spurs need to sign 3 players, and everybody knows who they are. Not Ivan Toney, sorry.
Osimhen.
Eze.
Osimhen.
A new keeper, and if I was going for a keeper right now, it'd be Kelleher.
Osimhen.
I don't want Osimhen. Nah, it's the way just man like. It's just I don't know. I've never been a big fan of it. You know the way Osimhen's not the type of footballer stand and I like.
Really?
Yeah, never really like. I'm not saying Osimhen's a world class striker, but he's not the type of footballer I want.
You man, yeah.
I don't hate Osimhen.
The way Stemi likes his strikers, yeah, is like the old 4-4-2 traditional.
Like,
yeah,
that's why.
I don't understand how we can't like Osimhen then, because Osimhen is an olden day striker.
I don't know about that.
It's an olden days. His hold up play is sick. His athletic ability is obscene. His technique is underrated.
So you want Osimhen at United?
Why would I need him at United, bro? When I need that type of, I don't think the striker of United here is a young man's job. I think the only way it can work is if you have somebody in their peak.
Interesting you said, because you look at the strikers I've all seen for like ever since like Rooney, Cavani, older Ronaldo,
Ibra.
It's actually very interesting. That's actually very. I never really actually thought of that.
Only exception was Martial, and Martial wasn't really the main man. There was another older striker there in front of it. I think was it Ibra?
Yeah, I think it was Ibra.
I think at our club, my club, the foot, especially because of the nature of the job, and they really need to factor mentality and the pressure of playing at Manchester United. You need to always have a player that's in their prime, and then you have your young striker next to them so that they can learn from it. So the younger one can learn.
Yeah.
That's the only way it can work, in my opinion.
Yes.
In my opinion.
So, like I said, look, obviously the finals this Wednesday. Hopefully, by God's grace, we can do the watch along.
Hopefully.
By God's grace, everything goes well.
God, really?
What's your? Do you like? Look, let's be very honest. Do you think you're gonna win? Like, be honest with you. Like,
right now, no. On the day, ask me the question again.
Yeah, I think I said to everybody, this is how I think the final is gonna come down to.
Yeah.
I goes regardless if United score first or not, the game is still on. But if Tottenham score first, the game is over.
Yeah, so you man can manage a lead much better.
It's not about managing a lead. I think mentality is gonna come in big effect.
I won't lie, mentality, because we came back.
I don't understand, but you have to remember this: the mentality of you playing City in an FA Cup final is different to the team that bet you 3 times in one season.
I won't lie to you. Yeah, this.
Do you hear what? Would you hear what?
I get where you're coming from, but I won't lie to you. Yeah, I personally don't think that has as much of an effect on the players
when it comes to finals, basically. What you're saying.
Because at the end of the day, we're Manchester United. Fuck that, man. We're winning the thing. I had to remind myself. Fuck that. We're winning the thing.
I'm not screaming.
We're Manchester United, and I think come that final, like everything comes. Yeah, the spirits of United, Red Devils will come at flames. The flame will rise.
Just like I said.
Sorry, team. I had to remind myself who I was.
Like I said, and I'll say again, I believe, and I will still stick to what I'm about to say. If Tottenham score first, they're winning that final. If United score first, it's still game on.
If Tottenham
score first, it is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be 2 things. It's either going to be like that 1-0 win, remember? Or it's going to be like that Carabao Cup when it's 4-3 or something.
I personally think if Tottenham score first, United will still winning that game. Hand on my heart.
I don't know, man. You have to remember now. Tottenham, you have to remember as well. I don't know about United. Tottenham have not played
any of the
main defenders.
Yeah.
And like I said, United can't try to outpace Tottenham. It's not going to work. Everything has. Who's going to outpace Van der Ven?
Oh, outpace? No. I heard say outplay. I said
outpace.
I think technically we can definitely outplay you, man.
We'll wait and see, because obviously, I'm never going to use that as an excuse, and neither should any United fan. We have injuries. You have injuries.
Terrible.
James Maddison, Lucas Bergvall is a very high doubt, but they're saying they're trying to push him. Kulusevski is gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he got injured in the Crystal Palace game. Yeah, so we have a few injuries there and there. That's why I said they might play Pochettino's camp.
That's why we have what do you call it? You rested your players. We played a little bit of our players.
I think that was very silly
for you to rest or for us to
play.
For
you to play.
I see this. I see the different philosophy.
I see the approaches, but I think what that could have came down to was, God forbid someone woke up and said I felt a niggle somewhere.
I even think, God forbid, I was so scared of an injury.
The only thing I was like, I don't mean this in a bad way. I was just praying Fernandes got injured.
Bro, I was Fernandes. Yeah, that guy he never gets injured.
80th minute, and I was just like, it's gonna be this one type of game that Fernandes will roll on his ankle or something stupid.
They hooked him.
But at the same time, your defenders, no Euro.
No, I know Euro. But we haven't heard anything. There's been no medical reports, no nothing. It's shush. It's.
Delit is definitely.
He's gone.
Heaven
is back, so that's good.
Heaven is back, but is he gonna really risk someone like that playing in the final?
He's composed. He's composed.
Composure, but composure is different to when you have 60,000 people
under pressure. Yeah.
But now you're gonna have 30,000 people. But and Sam, trust me, being at a football stadium for the first time, 2,000 people make a lot of sound.
That's why when I was talking about the 100-man versus one gorilla, I was like, "You man, they don't know the size of the 100-man."
Like 2,000 people make a loud sound. We're talking about 30,000 people and you fuck up is a different story.
Yeah.
So, like I said, we'll wait and see. But the final, like you said, you predicted 3-2. Yeah. I predicted 3-1. Yeah. We'll wait and see. But look, like you said, we have a few more minutes. So a couple of things I wanted to speak to you about was one statement. Obviously, you haven't been here for a while. I made a statement, a very strong statement. And maybe I didn't word it properly, but what I said was, I made 2 statements, and I'll talk about those 2 statements to you. I'll talk about a few things. I said that the only teams I believe that have been competing with City ever since Pep was pepping, or City have been that dominant side for the last 10 years, have been Chelsea, Liverpool, and United.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said this is it's going to kind of intertwine with another question here, is because I made a stake. People were asking if Tottenham or United win the Europa League, have they had a better season than Arsenal? Which was a big question. Obviously, there was very two strong sides to this. There was yes and no. Now, the reason why I said this question and why I'm going to go back is we judge a season based on accolades, from what I'm correct. That's why everybody slats Tottenham, because they never won anything. Am I correct or am I incorrect?
No.
So now, Arsenal within this 10-year period have won, I don't know how many FA Cups. I'm not saying anything about that. But my point here is that Manchester United have won Europa League. They won the FA Cup.
Carabao Cup.
They've won the FA Cup twice, if I'm correct. Because they won it under Mourinho.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
They won the Europa League, the FA Cup, they won the Carabao Cup again, and they won the FA Cup again. Liverpool have won the Premier League. No, Liverpool have won the Premier League, and Champions League, and they won the Carabao Cup. And I'm pretty sure they won the FA Cup sometime as well during this last 10 years.
I'm not sure.
They won something, and whether it's a Carabao Cup or FA Cup, okay. United have won, like I said. Chelsea have won the Champions League. I'm pretty sure they won the...
Did they win the Prem?
In the last 10 years, did Chelsea win a Prem? I
no.
think so. No,
they won it under Conte.
They won it under Conte. Now, was that 10 years ago?
Did they win under Tuchel? Or they won the Champions? They won the Champions League under Tuchel. Yeah.
But the reason why I said what I said was that, like, you guys can't keep holding Arteta at some level, and he's not delivering.
Yeah.
That's my first thing.
Yeah.
Versus when I look at like Ten Hag, who you people were coming for his neck, Arsenal fans were the loudest. He should be sacked. He shouldn't be there. How can you have a manager that's there?
We are the blueprint for a rebuild.
Yeah, but he won 2 trophies. Liverpool, 2 Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, Carabao Cup. That's why I made the statement what I made. I'm like, are we basing the season on accolades? Or are we basing on progression? Because if we're based on progression, Arsenal have not progressed. No, because progression is, for Arsenal, would have been winning the Premier League. If you did not win the Premier League, you did not progress. It'd be different now if Tottenham finished 17th this season. I want to finish 5th next season. That's progression. If United finished 16th or 17th this season and finished 5th, that's progression. Progression cannot be said because we're playing better football, because we're doing X, Y, and Z. No. Because from what I've been told by all these... Oh, Jesus, sorry. Oh, it's still recording. Is this still not charging? Sorry, Sam. Oh, okay. Where were we? Oh, sorry. Progression is based on you doing better.
Right.
You can't tell me that you're competing with the likes of City when you're not progressing.
Yeah.
Hey, get out of here. Stupid cats. I don't know my cats.
Yeah, I'm trying to convince my mom to get one. Me, I love them.
Anyways. That's what I'm trying to say. So I know maybe I'm just kind of going off a bit on what I'm saying, but what I'm just trying to say is that when I said that Arsenal are not competing, it's basically me saying they're not progressing.
Right.
Maybe I didn't word it correctly. What I'm trying to say is Arsenal are not progressing because you can't finish second 3 years in a row and tell me you're progressing.
Yeah.
You just can't. And possibly you might not even finish second this year.
Sure, yeah.
Because Newcastle could possibly finish second. So am I wrong in saying that the only 3 teams I believe that compete with City have been United, Chelsea, and Liverpool, because they're the only teams to have beat City to win something?
No, you're not wrong to say that. You're not wrong to say that at all. That's not a ridiculous take. That's not a ridiculous take.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. That's what I was trying to say. You can't tell me you're competing with City when you haven't beaten City to win an accolade.
Yeah.
That's the point. If Crystal Palace beat City today in the FA Cup final, they've had a better season than City because they've beaten the best of the best to win something. They prove it's possible. Right. Liverpool, United, Chelsea, they've all proved it's possible. If you want to say the Community Shield, cool. But even me, I don't count the Community Shield as a trophy. I don't. Because you can't keep saying here, you can't people, and I know those stupid Arsenal fans in the comments will say whatever they want to say. But that's not my point is, you can't tell me you're competing when you can't beat the team you're competing with. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I say this. You like if Spurs win this, if Spurs win this trophy, Sam. I've said it to every United supporter except two. I will not slag United supporter. I will come in arms with them, and I will sing one song that Arsenal fans will never sing. You'll never sing that. You'll never sing that. Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. Oh, Sam, I said it. God who's my God bless me. God bless what we'll do. I will get us the first tickets to watch Tottenham versus Arsenal in the stadium. And we will go there. And I will start that chant. I'm going to be a menace to society. My profile is on private, Sam. I'm taking it off private. The Spurs win that trophy. Sam? But anyways, back to what we're saying. But you agree with what I'm saying, though. You can't tell me you're competing when you can't beat the team you're competing with to win something.
That's not a ridiculous thing to say at all. That's actually, I hear your points. Actually,
that's why I always defend you. That's why I hate when you guys always say this thing about you Ten Hag. I just still believe Ten Hag needed a year or two more.
I don't believe shit.
But Sam, you can't. Why? He won the trophies.
It's not just that.
If Ten Hag was there, United would not be finishing 16th.
But when I was telling you about this thing about accolades, it also comes down to the journey as well and how you feel during that point. When you feel like pain isn't enough, it's not giving you enough. That's what I felt with Ten Hag. I felt like,
but what is it that he's doing? Like, Sam, you're not going to win the Premier League.
One of the things
you're not going to win the Champions League. But
that's the problem.
FA Cup, but Sam, that's going to take time.
No, it's not a matter of time.
As much as I slag Arsenal, they took 5 years till they start competing again.
That's not. But that's my issue. It's not. It shouldn't. What we won under Ten Hag here, and where we finished, like it's one thing to finish in the top 4 or in or around that region, yeah. But how we get there is very, very important to me. Like if we can't play a style of football that I'm like, you know what, yeah, this isn't causing a lot of injuries. We're imposing on our opponents. We are clearly the dominant force in this match here. As a Manchester United club, there's a problem. Big problem. What I'm saying in terms of the accolades, in comparison to other teams that are trying to pipe up, we are better in terms of accolades. However, in terms of when I look at ourselves and compare ourselves to our own history, yeah, journey-wise, eye test-wise, football-wise, exciting-wise, yeah, we are not there.
Yeah, but Sam, that.
And I don't think he could take us there.
I get it, but Sam, I don't think you're ever going to. And that's the thing. Like, I think you are still in this whole Fergie thing. It's done.
It's not done.
Sam, it's done. I'm so sorry.
United were a big club before Fergie.
Yes, United
were a big. Well,
Fergie, you were a big club, but Fergie made you.
We were the biggest. We were the biggest club after during Fergie. Yes.
During Fergie, yes. Sorry, during Fergie.
So our history is there. Our history has always been we are the big club. Madrid, has not declined significantly in any manner because they keep standards high.
Yeah, but you can't. But the problem is who was going to be more of a standard than Alex Ferguson? Who was going to be who?
What do you mean?
Who were you going to get that was going to keep to the levels of Alex Ferguson?
It's not even a matter of keeping to the levels, but I'm saying it's not because United isn't just one person, right? Right, one person. No. That's like saying America is one country.
Yeah, but United is like that.
I mean, America is one person
who is the staple to everything in United, which was Alex Ferguson. Sam, we all know, I know, everybody knows. Alex Ferguson was basically running that club. And I think that's the problem. When you took Alex Ferguson out of the equation, people were like, "Oh shit, I have to do a job now." So I think that is the problem at United, is when you took that one person who was doing everybody's job. Was it Gary Neville that said that there was a time he's won a trophy or he's lost a Champions League final and everybody went home to rest. Alex Ferguson was still back in his office at 6 o'clock, like was it some time in the AM by himself. Nobody was there, or Sam was only him and probably the security guard at the gates. Are you telling me Amrin or any of these man will lose that final and will be in the office the next day?
That's not their job no more. They're just a coach.
That's what I'm trying to say to you. Alex Ferguson was that guy. That's what I feel like you guys are still not over. You're not gonna have that guy again.
It's not a matter of having that guy. It's literally a matter of having what he was skilled at here. Having different people be skilled at it, because the way he left a hole, we can't afford that to be done. We are behind other clubs. It's okay to get a Maverick. It's okay to get a Maverick in control. But at the end of the day, when he goes, we're not set up to compete with other clubs who have how many people set up, processes set up. You know, well, at the end of the day, Sha, I never thought that Ten Hag could really take us there. That first season, I thought he could, but he just, the way he played football regressed, in my opinion. Even that first season, there's a lot of stains when you reflect on that quote unquote good season. So yeah, that's sort of me. That's sort of me, man.
So okay, anyways, I hear where you're coming from, but like I just feel like I don't know. I feel like to replace Alex, I feel like United are not looking for a new type of manager. I think they're just looking for someone that can replace Alex Ferguson.
No, we're not looking for that.
That's what I
feel. Because from what I've heard from the reports here, Ratcliffe is very hands on, not hands off. I can't imagine Ratcliffe giving somebody else that level of control to be that hands on, because that means he can override his decisions.
That's very true, but look,
and if you're very hands on, if you've ever dealt with like those type of people in any job you've done at any point in any capacity, yeah.
So obviously obviously the end of the season, and I don't know if I can find the clip, but I'll find it. I know we've talked about this once or twice, but this last time I'm going to talk about it again. I will quote and I repeat before we wrap up. I said, if Arteta does not win the Premier League this season, there is no difference between him and Pochettino at his 5 years at Tottenham. And I want to know if you still disagree or agree with me.
I agree.
So for people that want me to think I'm going crazy, right? Just let me do it. So I don't want to get my dates wrong. I don't want to get anything wrong what I'm about to say, because I did look at this before I came. Pochettino. When did Pochettino join Spurs? I think it was 2014. When did Poch join Spurs? We don't think of 2014-15 is when Pochettino joined Spurs. Just remember that. That's the most important part. So obviously, in his first season that he was there, I have him quote unquote, Tottenham finished 5th. You remember what I'm going to say right now. Then the season after that, Tottenham finished 3rd. Progression. I just want you to remember this. I'll say, now, Tottenham finished 3rd. So now we're going to look at his last 3 seasons, quote unquote. Tottenham finished 2nd, so 86 points. Remember, 86 points. I want you to remember what I'm saying. That's when Chelsea's Conte absolutely ran rings around the league. Then 2017, Tottenham finished 4th with 77 points. And there was no way anybody was doing anything that season. That's when I see they were Centaurians. You remember? Well, that's 2017-18. 2018-19, Tottenham finished 4th again. Okay? So you remember everything I'm saying right now, yeah? And then the season after that, Tottenham finished 6th. But that last season was when Tottenham made the Champions League final. Tottenham made the Champions League final one of them seasons before. So, when I said there's no difference between Pochettino's Spurs and they didn't win anything, and if anything, Pochettino achieved more than Arteta. Champions League final, FA Cup final, Carabao Cup or FA Cup final, one or the other. I know it was one. He made FA Cup or Carabao Cup final. He made one of them finals with his own team he built. Because even there's actually fans that will say out there that the team that Arteta won the FA Cup with was Emery's team. The team that he has changed and has still nothing has happened. So I will stick to my point of today. There's no difference between Arteta and Poch. There never will be. They both, in the first 5 years, Poch has even achieved more than Arteta. People can call me mad in the comments, but the facts are there. And yeah, And I'm not saying here. Look, I'm not. I know I don't hate Arsenal, but I'm not gonna say here. I'm not gonna sit here and be like Arsenal are a shit team. I don't have no problem with Arsenal. I said to Eddie multiple times, Arsenal are playing brilliant football. They're playing some of the best. They play brilliant football. When Arsenal start going, they go like it's unstoppable. But there's only so much good football you can play, and you're not winning anything. You understand what I mean? And I want to make this last point before we go. I don't think anybody actually hates Arsenal. I think it's their fans.
Yeah.
I know what it is, yeah. I don't even believe it's people can say AFTV or no. I think it's genuinely Ty that causes the major hate for Arsenal.
Take Ty. Your time when it.
No, that's Troops.
Okay.
Ty is the guy who wears Arsenal kit like it's his uniform.
The small kid,
yeah,
the small guy.
Black guy.
I don't even see much of himself.
The guy that said that Arsenal are a bigger club than Man United.
Is he the one that did this? That meme.
And he's small and he's black. Yeah. Him. Said Arsenal are a bigger club than Man United. Anyways, guys, I want to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. 21st of May. Hopefully, by the grace of God, we will have to watch along. It will be good. Whatever happens that day, I'm gonna be part of my team regardless.
I'm not gonna be part of my team unless we win.
But yeah, guys, look, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Take care. God bless. Have a good day, and we will see you next
Wednesday,
hopefully. Bye.
Adieu.